Hey Taurus, welcome to your daily horoscope for August 28th, 2026. Today carries an energy that may encourage you to slow down and look more carefully at what has been developing beneath the surface of your life. Something may be asking for your attention. It could be a decision you have delayed, a situation that no longer feels comfortable, a relationship that has changed, or simply an inner feeling that you are ready for something different. You may not have all the answers yet, and that is perfectly fine. Not every change needs to happen immediately. Sometimes the first step is simply recognizing what your heart and instincts have been trying to tell you. Taurus, you are naturally patient and grounded, but there are moments when holding on to what is familiar can become harder than admitting that something needs to change. Before making an important move, ask yourself one simple question. Am I choosing this because it truly matters to me, or because I am tired of waiting? That distinction can make a major difference. Your strength today comes from combining patience with awareness. You do not need to rush simply because circumstances around you are moving quickly. Think of a tree growing beneath the surface before anyone sees a new branch. Much of your progress may be happening quietly before it becomes visible. August 28th is therefore less about forcing an outcome and more about understanding where your energy should be invested. You may find yourself thinking repeatedly about something from the past. Perhaps an old conversation, a missed opportunity, a relationship, or a decision you once made. Instead of judging yourself for what happened, consider what that experience taught you. Sometimes the past returns not because you need to repeat it, but because you are finally ready to understand it differently. Taurus, you may also realize that you have been carrying responsibilities that were never completely yours. You are someone who can become the reliable person others turn toward when they need stability. But being dependable does not mean you must solve every problem around you. There is a difference between supporting someone and carrying their entire burden. If you continually place everyone else's needs ahead of your own, your personal priorities can slowly disappear. Your energy deserves protection too. You may notice that you become more tired when you say yes to things that you secretly wanted to refuse. You may also feel frustrated when people expect too much from you. This is a reminder to establish healthier boundaries. You can care about people without being responsible for every decision they make. You can be kind without constantly sacrificing your own peace. And you can say no without feeling guilty. There may also be moments when your dreams or emotions feel unusually vivid. If something stays in your mind after waking, simply observe it rather than immediately searching for a literal meaning. Ask yourself what emotion remained. Was it excitement, fear, relief, hope? That feeling may tell you more about your current life than the details of the dream itself. If your environment has recently felt noisy, stressful, or overwhelming, give yourself permission to step away from the constant stimulation. Quiet time, nature, reading, music, gentle movement, or simply being alone with your thoughts can help you reconnect with yourself. Rest is not laziness. For Taurus, rest can actually help restore the stability that allows you to make better decisions. When it comes to your career, August 28th asks you to look at what you are building rather than only what you are achieving today. There may be a project, career goal, business idea, or responsibility that has taken longer than expected. You might wonder whether you should continue, but before abandoning something, ask whether the problem is that the goal no longer matters or simply that the path has become more difficult than you expected. Sometimes persistence is necessary. Other times, wisdom means changing your strategy. You do not need to continue something simply because you have already invested time in it. At the same time, do not give up on something meaningful just because progress has temporarily slowed. Look carefully. Decide whether you need to continue, adjust, or let go. That decision can free a surprising amount of energy. Your practical nature can also help you financially. Rather than chasing every new opportunity, concentrate on possibilities that have real potential to become stable over time. An attractive offer is not automatically the right opportunity. Look at the details. Ask what it requires from you. Consider whether it fits your long-term goals. Your greatest advantage is not speed. It is your ability to build something patiently when you truly believe in it. In love, the energy becomes softer. If you are in a relationship, you may need to pay attention to communication. Sometimes Taurus can become quiet when something is bothering them, expecting the other person to notice without being told. But emotional closeness becomes stronger when thoughts are expressed clearly. You do not have to win an argument. You do not have to prove that your position is correct. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is listen. A calm conversation can reveal that both people were experiencing the same situation differently. If you are single, someone may attract your attention in an unexpected way. There could be an interesting conversation, a new connection, or someone from your surroundings showing more interest than you expected. But do not decide too quickly what the connection means. Attraction can be exciting, but genuine compatibility takes time to understand. Watch how the person treats you. Notice whether you feel comfortable being yourself. A healthy connection should not require you to constantly prove your value. The strongest relationships are built when both people contribute equally. Now let's move into the tarot energy surrounding your reading. The first card is the Ace of Pentacles. For Taurus, this is especially meaningful because it represents something practical beginning to take form. It may symbolize a new opportunity, a project, a career possibility, a financial idea, or a chance to create greater stability. But the Ace of Pentacles is not simply a promise that something valuable will appear. It represents a seed. A seed has potential, but it still requires patience, care, consistency, and effort. So if a new opportunity appears around you, do not only ask whether it looks exciting. Ask whether you are willing to nurture it. The next card is the Seven of Wands. This card suggests that something important may require you to protect your position. You could encounter competition, pressure, criticism, or people who have different opinions about the direction you are taking. But the message is not to fight everyone. Instead, become selective about what truly deserves your energy. Not every comment requires a response. Not every disagreement deserves an argument. And not every person who questions your choices should have the ability to change your direction. Stand firm where it matters. Remain flexible where flexibility is wiser. The next energy is the Star. This card brings hope, healing, renewal, and a gradual return of confidence. If you have recently experienced disappointment or uncertainty, the Star suggests that you do not have to remain trapped in that emotional atmosphere forever. Something within you can begin to feel lighter. You may not suddenly have every answer, but you can begin believing in possibilities again. The Star reminds you that your future does not have to be defined by difficult experiences from the past. You can learn from what happened without allowing it to control what happens next. Then we have the Fool. For Taurus, this card may feel unusual because you naturally appreciate security and familiarity. The Fool encourages you to consider a new direction when the old one no longer represents who you are becoming. This does not mean acting recklessly. It means accepting that you cannot know every detail of the future before beginning something new. There is a difference between taking a thoughtful risk and acting without thinking. The message here is to allow curiosity to guide you while keeping your practical judgment beside it. You do not need a perfect plan, but you should understand why you are taking the step. Finally, the Two of Cups appears, bringing an important message around relationships and emotional connections. This card represents mutual understanding, respect, balance, and reciprocity. It reminds you that a meaningful relationship should not feel like one person is constantly giving while the other simply receives. Both people should have a voice. Both people should feel seen. Both people should contribute. If you are already in a relationship, this can be a beautiful reminder to create more space for honest communication. If you are single, you may become less interested in connections that are exciting but emotionally empty. You may begin looking for something deeper, something where you can remain independent while still allowing another person to genuinely know you. Family energy may also become more peaceful. A misunderstanding could begin to soften through a simple conversation or shared moment. You do not need everyone to agree with you. Sometimes understanding begins when people simply become willing to listen. The Ace of Pentacles may also point towards something practical involving family, home, shared responsibilities, or financial planning. The Star brings the possibility of emotional healing, while the Seven of Wands reminds you not to take responsibility for every conflict within the family. You can support the people you love without becoming responsible for solving everything. Taurus, your health and general well-being also deserve attention. If you have been pushing yourself for too long, your body may be asking you to slow down. Do not interpret rest as weakness. Your energy needs recovery just as much as it needs effort. Pay attention to your sleep, mood, stress levels, and overall energy. Small pressures can accumulate when they are ignored for too long. You may be strong enough to keep going, but that does not mean you should always have to. Let taking care of yourself become part of your success rather than something you only do after everything else is finished. For students or anyone learning something new, the message is also important. Do not decide that something is impossible simply because you do not understand it yet. Skills develop through practice. Mistakes can become part of learning. You do not need to know everything before beginning. When it comes to compatibility, remember that no zodiac sign guarantees a perfect relationship. Different signs can bring different qualities into your life. Virgo may appreciate your practical nature and help you create structure. Capricorn can understand your desire for stability and long-term progress. Cancer may connect with your emotional side and bring warmth and sensitivity. But ultimately, compatibility depends on respect, communication, honesty, and the willingness of both people to understand each other. Taurus, the central message of August 28, 2026 is about knowing where your energy belongs. The Ace of Pentacles says, recognize the opportunity. The Seven of Wands says, protect what truly matters. The Star says, allow yourself to hope again. The Fool says, do not be afraid of a new beginning. And the Two of Cups says, choose relationships built on mutual understanding and respect. You do not need to rush your future. You do not need to prove yourself to everyone. And you do not need to carry every responsibility placed in front of you. Sometimes the strongest decision is to pause long enough to understand what you actually want. Then, once you know what deserves your energy, move forward with patience and confidence. Because Taurus, your power has never been about moving the fastest. It has been about knowing what is worth building and having the patience to make it real.